Dick, you must do what he says.
Maybe not this time, Alfred. Maybe not ever again. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Real Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm here with fellow Robin, Christopher Johnson.
Hello everyone.
And we're here to discuss Batman the Animated Series episode.
Well, a couple,
Yeah,
actually.
but we're starting with the first one.
Well, okay, yeah. Yep. At some point we're actually going to do the whole series, but seeing as though we're doing the 85th anniversary of Robin, you know, we wanted to pick out specific stories for each Robin, or each main Robin. So, we decided a couple of very important stories for Dick Grayson. The first one, Robin's Reckoning.
The one that we're reviewing right now.
Yeah.
But before we do that, make sure to find us on Facebook, The Real Screen Team. Where else?
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, and Lemonade.
And make sure to find our YouTube channel. Make sure to like, comment, share our videos, and subscribe to this channel. So, it definitely helps.
Yes, and definitely share.
Yeah. So.
And click the post notification bell if you're already subscribed to be updated.
So when I get to the synopsis?
Well, sure. For Robin's Reckoning. A mobster named Tony Zuko, who killed Robin's parents, returns. Batman refuses to allow Dick Grayson to use the persona of Robin to apprehend him. Batman launches an investigation searching for Zuko, which is paralleled by Robin's own investigation, unbeknownst to the Dark Knight.
This was a really great two-parter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Yep, this is a multi-parter written by Randy Ragel, who also wrote the Two-Face two-parter, and he also co-wrote the Sub-Zero Mr. Freeze movie.
This man He just writing banger after banger.
Yep.
I mean, just fantastic stories.
Yep.
And yes, this is definitely one of the best stories of Batman the Animated Series.
Yep. And Dick Grayson gets us a day in the limelight.
Yes, as usual. I mean, the first season, yeah, we only saw him like a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, technically, if you look at the chronological order of, you know, the episodes, the first time we see him, he's captured.
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, he wasn't captured yet.
But he was also, unless you use the actual production release, then he's celebrating Christmas with Batman.
Yeah, which is weird. Well, winter break for college.
Yeah.
How do they show season change in Batman the Animated Series? Huh.
Yeah. So, this is our first time. I first watched this episode when I got the VHS, when it was renamed The Adventures of Batman and Robin. They actually used The Adventures of Batman and Robin in opening credits instead of the animated series opening credits.
Dang.
Which also used most of the clips from this two-parter. Basically.
I definitely think at some point I did watch this episode on Cartoon Network, though they were still going by Batman the Animated Series and used that intro.
Yeah. Well, it's back to that intro in the DVD and Blu-ray.
Yes,
and
of
streaming.
course. Of course. I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
Except for on Amazon, where they do use some of the other intros.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like the Batman Superman one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely got engrossed in this story when I got the DVD.
Yeah.
You know, the DVD box set. And yeah, it hit a lot harder, you know,
Yeah.
after fully knowing Dick Grayson's whole story from
Yeah.
the comics and the movies and everything.
But here he starts off. Well, we should first get into the voices, starting with the late Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Yes. Iconic, definitive.
Yep.
I mean, what more can we already say that we haven't already said about Kevin Conroy?
We've already done our tribute episode, so
Yeah. I mean, definitely go and check out those episodes. I hope we definitely did him a great deal of justice.
yeah. Of course, he's trying to keep Dick Grayson and Robin out of the Tony Zuko revenge plot.
Yeah, he is actually trying to be the more level-headed one.
Yep.
Which is weird sometimes.
Although the way he did it was jerk ass.
True, but I do understand why. Because I have a feeling this Batman definitely had his chill of the night moment where he finally got Joe Chill and had to go through that dilemma of, do I take this man's life or not? Do I do it?
But part one, we have a good action fight in the construction
Yes.
area where poor Dick almost gets killed. Batman then knocked down one of the thugs,
Yeah.
but then he finds out Tony Zuko's alias, Billy Marin, with the only suspect that they were able to catch. Yep. And that's when he decides to leave Robin out of it. They do have a little bit of an argument.
Yeah, because Robin recognizes him as, oh yeah, that's the guy that left, you know, the trailer at Haley's Circus, and then like, what? 15 minutes, maybe a half hour later, his parents die during their trapeze act.
Of course, we also get to see Batman's flashback, where he was undercover for a bit, and of course he visits the guy's uncle, Stromwell. Yep. He also has a good moment with young Dick Grayson.
Yeah, where
in the flashbacks.
Yeah, we actually get to see a number of the flashbacks to see how, you know, Dick's life with his parents, the tragedy, and his, first few days living as a ward
Yep.
under Bruce. And, you know, how initially, at first, it was a bit awkward.
Yeah, especially with Bruce going to his business meetings.
Yeah, but then finally letting Dick know that, yeah, I'm Batman.
Yep. And we get to see the no yellow circle.
Yeah. We actually get a bit of what, Batman Year 1, Batman Year 2 kind of Batman.
Yeah.
Which I actually like that little nod to that.
Of course, he does end up finding Tony Zuko, but he ends up getting injured.
Yeah.
And being chased at an abandoned amusement park.
As you do. How many abandoned amusement parks are in Gotham?
So many.
I'm starting to wonder things.
Yeah. Yep. Of course, now let's talk about the actual star, Lauren Lester as Dick Grayson / Robin.
And Joey Simran as young Dick. Both of them did fantastic.
Yep.
Both of them did.
Yeah, Lauren Lester's Robin's more bloodthirsty in this one.
Which I don't blame him. I mean, he I think, wasn't he 10 when this happened?
Yeah.
And now he's 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally has the opportunity to get the man that caused his parents' death.
Yep.
If I was under the same circumstance, yeah, I would do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do not blame him whatsoever.
Yep. And he nearly kills him.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he also in his younger days, got captured by the guy he tried to stop.
Yeah.
Yep. And had to let him get away. Had to let Batman let him get away because he threw him in the damn river.
Yep, and had to save him.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. But we get to learn, since years have passed, he got more of his detective skills and everything.
Yeah, because people forget, despite being the young counterpart, Dick is equally as capable as Batman in all of this.
Yep.
That's why, when the chips are down and the void needs to be filled, that's why he's the first option to be Batman.
Yep. And,
yeah, his detective work was very good.
Yep.
Just as good as Batman's. And he didn't even have he didn't have, full-on access to the Bat computer.
Yeah. Of course, Joey Simmerin did do great. His emotional.
Yes. Oh, God. You really felt for the kid. Yeah. You really did.
Yeah, he lost his parents. He was all alone. He only had Alfred to take care of him for a while until Bruce finally helped him.
Yeah, and actually became more of like a father to him.
Until we found out that Tony Zuko was almost going to get caught by Captain or Lieutenant Gordon in the flashback.
Yeah.
So he runs away to go do his own undercover work to find Tony Zuko.
And that's when Bruce realizes, yeah, maybe I need to start teaching this kid.
Yep.
I need to start teaching this kid.
Yep. Well, really in part 2, they were going to do the candlelight ceremony.
We actually would have gotten to see the ceremony.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do it?
Guess time?
They could have found a way.
Yep.
They could have found a way. Show us. Show us.
Yep.
That is a very important moment.
Yep.
I mean, that's literally when Robin swears the oath.
Yep.
And officially gets the outfit to be Robin.
Yep. Well, let's talk about the supporting cast.
Well, of course, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Yeah.
May he also rest in peace, as Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Loyal Butler. He's one of the best Alfreds, in my opinion.
He's the one who convinced Bruce that he needs to spend more time with young Dick in the flashback.
Yeah, as the boy needs a father.
Yeah. Yeah. And he tried to stop Dick when he was all murderous rampage.
Yeah.
Batman cut him out, stopping Tony Zuko once and for all.
Yeah. But, he knows. He
Yeah.
knows they're going to do their own thing. He tries to be a voice of reason, but they almost never listen.
Yeah.
Of course, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, / Lieutenant Gordon with the red hair.
Yeah, we got to see young Gordon.
Yep. That's mainly the Gordon we see is in the flashbacks up until the ending of the two-parter.
Yeah, where he's all white with his white mustache.
Yeah. Yep, telling B Cop Bullock he needs an APB on the Zuko now.
Which is awesome to see the early days of Bullock as well.
This is our second time since Mask of the Phantasm. He was also a beat cop in the flashbacks.
Very true, very true. Wait, did this come out before or after Mask of the Phantasm?
Good question. Not quite. I'm thinking after.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
Because I think wasn't the movie made after the first season, into the second?
I think so. Yeah.
And of course, let's not forget the main linchpin of the whole story,
Yeah.
Tony Zuko, played by Thomas F. Wilson. Hello, McFry. Hello.
Yep. Didn't realize that was Biff.
Yeah. Who would have thought? The man that just causes Marty and George McFly's life a living hell in Back to the Future was the man that turned Dick Grayson into an orphan.
Yep.
But you have to give him credit. He did a fantastic job.
Yep.
It's how much voice work does he do?
He does a lot of voice work.
I don't think he gets enough credit.
Yep.
He does a fantastic job.
He also uncredited voice as Thomas Grayson because he is the voice of.
So he can weirdly say he killed himself.
Yeah.
Well, he did a good job at that as well.
Yep. Yep. Of course, his thing is after the insurance thing, run away from Batman as cowardly as he can be. That years later, when he gets back, he got why he was being chased after.
How do you forget that you pretty much caused a public death of multiple people? How do you forget that? How? Well, then again, with what he does as a living, how many deaths has he caused that he forgets?
Yep.
Yeah, this man needed to be stopped.
Yep. That even his uncle couldn't stand him in part 1.
Yeah, he had no qualms
Yep.
in ratting him out.
Yep. Yep. Isn't it? Of course, he nearly gets killed by bloodthirsty Dick Grayson Robin.
Which, once again, I don't blame him. But Dick had to let the judicial system take its process, and fortunately it did. And Zuko got put away.
Yep.
So Dick didn't have to deal with, the heavy gravitas of I took a life.
Yep.
Just like how Batman didn't have to deal with it.
Yep.
With his stories of dealing with Joe Chill.
Yep. But let's talk about the good.
Such a fateful adaptation of Dick Grayson's
Yep.
origin. Very fateful.
Yep, compared to the other one we reviewed, Batman Forever.
I will never forgive that.
They also gave him a brother. An older brother.
I know. And he's freaking 18. Why are you a ward? You're 18. Why are you living with Batman? You're a grown-ass man.
course, the acting, like we said, Lauren Lester, Joey Simmerin, and Thomas Wilson.
Yes, all fantastic. Definitely added more to the story of why it was so good.
Yep.
Of course, the action,
Yep.
fantastic as always,
Yep.
because, I mean, it's Batman animated series.
Yep.
The action is always good.
Yep. Of course. Should we get to the score?
Yeah.
I give this a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect episode. And recommend it for anyone who has Max or Prime, because they're now showing it for free for Prime again. Or if you already have the Blu-ray and DVD, rewatch it again.
For me, yeah, I agree. 10 out of 10. Fantastic episode. Fantastic. And it's a two-parter on top of it. So it got air to breathe.
Yeah.
You know, so we got to have a lot of action, important, like, heartstring moments and everything. Truly a great story.
Yep. But before we go, we're not done with Dick Grayson yet.
Oh, no. We still have another story.
The one where he's in his final days as Robin.
Yeah, and explains why he went away for a while.
Yep.
And the void of, well, the mantle of Robin had to be filled.
Mm-hmm. But when we're all set out,
Sure. Well, thank you all for watching. Definitely come back and watch us again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and click the post notification bell so you're updated for all of our upcoming videos. Well, cut, print, that's a wrap.